Yeah, I think this has some slop in it. I think those bushings are toast. So, interestingly enough, my biggest problem with this motor is twofold. The first problem is transmission. These obviously never came with a manual, and the V12s are a little bit difficult to work on and everything like that. But V8 populars are swapped, the M117s, I think. So this is the same bell housing, it seems, as the M115. So anything that'll bolt up to that should bolt up to this, theoretically. And I'm basing that off of, they use the same transmission. So, that being said, my two options for a 6-speed transmission is the BMW 335i transmission, the 6-speed. It seems to be an option. There's actually a kit pre-made for them. So I'm looking at that, and the transmissions are a little hard to find. The other option is, interestingly enough, the Chrysler Crossfire 6-speed, because it was basically a Mercedes to begin with, bolts directly up to this bell housing, but the flywheels are actually a little bit difficult to find on those. So the other problem that I have is the width of this, down here especially, mainly because for some reason they decided to put the deep part of the oil sump up front rather than in the back like with every other thing. If it wasn't for that, it would drop in no problem. I would just have to build motor mounts. So it's not like that. This motor is way too wide back here, and way too tall. It'll just stick out of the hood a few inches. So we're going to take off this oil pan and completely rebuild this oil pan, and I'm going to try and just move the sump back here, or we're going to have to dry sump, or we're going to have to do something. It's going to be entertaining, at least. That's for damn sure. So essentially what I need to do is I need to modify this oil pan. I went through a bunch of steps. I thought about modifying this, which I'm going to try. I also thought about building my entirely own new oil pan. But you see this has this little groove that sits in here, and I actually really like that design, so I'm going to try and keep it. But we'll see. So, see what we can do. So this is an oil pump, and you can tell that because, well, of the way it is. Essentially, this was the original pickup tube. You can see that it's all cast one piece. It sits in there like that, and it drops down, and because we're moving the sump to the back, that doesn't work. Right now I'd like to get it reinstalled so I can double check my height as I drop the motor in. So I printed this test piece that I'm eventually going to machine out of aluminum, that is basically the exact same thing as this, except that it has a flange on it instead of a pickup tube, so then I can just weld a pickup tube off of this and bend it down over to there. So we're going to get this installed. I'd like to reiterate test piece, not real piece. Like I said, we'll just, this is just to hold it in there for a little bit. And that's why we print test pieces. So we're definitely colliding on this upper corner a little bit. So we'll just have to rebuild it. No big deal. Yeah, it definitely is a little bit thinner up there. Like I said, no big deal. For right now though, That'll do for right now. So I've moved this to the 1,000 or the 500-pound setting, which I'm not thrilled about. Yeah, I don't like it, but I don't have the room otherwise, so we'll see. We will see. Spent most of last night building motor mounts, getting them all lined up, and I'm not completely sure they're going to work, but I got them cut out. We'll see how they do. I'm going to get them tacked up. Ultimately, they didn't do too bad. They bolted up pretty well, and I'm happy with where it was. I was originally going to put the rubber piece in here against the frame. I'm deciding that I'm probably going to put it on here because that's where I have the space. It really depends. I think I'm going to regret putting it here, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna get them bolted up. I'm gonna get them finish welded, and then we'll see what we have room for. I mean, I could go solid motor mounts, but I just don't want to deal with cracking or anything. I want a little bit of movement in there. So. It's in a garage now. So here's the plan, and I'm gonna put this in this video too, because I was originally gonna send this to paint and then put all the new parts on it, but paint's gonna be a week or so out, so I'm actually just gonna do all of the parts and then it'll roll back out onto paint. I was trying to send it to paint early because I wanted to get it off these wheels. They're just gonna go, I'm gonna redo the suspension on this, and these garbage tires and wheels are gonna go right back on, even though I have a perfectly good original set of rally wheels over there. So, oh well. This is about half of the parts I ordered. There's, yeah, the entire brake system, the entire fuel system, and pretty much the entire suspension system is getting gone through, as well as all of the stuff with the motor. Carpet, some miscellaneous interior trim, and pretty much all new electrical too, although I'll probably keep basically firewall 4, it'll be all new. All that stuff will probably remain the same, although gauges and stuff are going to be entertaining. So I'm gonna get it up on jack stands and start to work on it. There's really not a lot of room in here. So these are the fuel rails that I ordered. These are the pre-billet cutouts. They're threaded on each end, and I need to adapt them to the V12. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm making a center mark down the center of the rail, and then that way I can just drill them out on the center. And then if we find our bore spacing, I'm not sure why I checked bore spacing, I knew exactly what it was going to be. So if we look here, this is going to be upside down for you guys, I'm sorry. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to... So what I'm going to do, because I want these even, I'm going to go right here at 11. Got a pile of injectors here. I'm going to install them, and then I'll build brackets for them. One very large bar. So this is the fuel tank. Like I said, this is getting front to back new fuel system. New tank, new fuel lines, all AN, everything like that. So we're gonna run those real quick. Install this and everything. It is one with an in-tank pump. This is way too nice for me. I'm usually dealing with cheap junk that I kind of have to make work, and this has hardware, like installation hardware and instructions, and that's weird for me. I'm not really sure how to handle that. So, yep, fuel. Alright, so this has been a lot of short clips, everything like that, but at this point, what's been done, what I've done, obviously the motor's been put in, I got the fuel rails built, I got the fuel system plumbed, I got the new fuel tank in, it's gotten new bushings on the upper and lower control arms, it's gotten pretty much all new bushings in the back, it's gotten new ball joints here and there. It's got basically new suspension all the way around. It's got new brakes all the way around, like to the point, rebuilt master cylinder, rebuilt 4 calipers, rebuilt or new 4 rotors, new pads, new lines, new distribution block. It's going to stop pretty well. So fuel system is plumbed, so brake system is plumbed. From here we have cooling, wiring, and a few touch-ups here and there. We're actually getting pretty close. I have radiator in here, new tires are over there, fan is right over there. I have O2 sensors that are over there. I need to bolt up the manifolds, which I'm actually going to just reuse the factory Mercedes manifolds, the non-cat ones. They're actually pretty, like, I can't build anything better, and especially for the space constraints that we have, I really can't say anything there. Transmission is the unit out of Chrysler Crossfire, and I actually have a flywheel coming in for that. So that'll all come back out and get re-put in here in a few days. Once that comes in, I'm doing a clutch and everything on that with it. From there, it'll be on new tires, and we can start wiring on this. I'm going to retain basically everything on the exterior as it is pretty much factory. I'm going to keep it as factory as possible on the exterior. It's actually getting the original rally wheels. All of the interior is staying factory. I'm going to put in new carpet. Everything is ordered, it just needs to get all installed. It's actually coming along quite nicely. So yeah, a lot of you have been asking me what I'm going to do on coils. Essentially, I found... So one of the problems is this has twin spark heads, and the original Mercedes coils are not great. They break a lot. So I decided to ditch those, and I'm going to run 3rd gen Hemi coils on this. I actually found a wiring kit, and like they don't bolt up like plug-on head, but they're pretty close, and I'm going to actually be able to make them work pretty easily. So I'm excited about that. I actually have those on order, so that's probably next step. It's not going to be completely wired up soon, but we're going to start diving into that. Obviously, I'm going to be running a MS3 Pro Evo. I've ran it in the past. The Porsche has the Porsche has it, so I've had good luck with it. But from there, that's where we stand. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, stuff like that.